Hello, hello. Here we are again, and it is Wednesday. I am so very excited to have my guest today is Dr. Caroline Musselwhite, who actually hails from Phoenix, Arizona, where I am also, and I have an interesting story about our friendship. So let me bring her on now. Hello, Caroline. Good morning. How are you?
Wonderful, Mai Ling. It's great to see you.
Oh, so good to see you. I was just giving a little teaser about how we know each other. So I do say this a lot, but I know you've heard it. So I was stalking Caroline, as I usually do, and I was trying to get her years ago to do some presentations for us on yapguru.com. Oh no, was it app reviews, right? We wanted her to do some app reviews. And for some reason, I'd gone out onto Twitter and I found her, and I don't know where I got the idea, but I thought she lived in Europe. And so I got her email and I emailed her and I said, hey, when you're back in the States, I would love to connect with you, if there's any way. And then she's like, what are you talking about? I'm right here in, what is it, Goodyear? Are you
Yes, Litchfield Park.
in Litchfield Park, Arizona? And I was like, what? That's like 20 minutes away. And so since then, Carolyn and I have been meeting at least quarterly, right? In person. It's just been amazing. So welcome. So happy to have you.
I'm so excited to be here with you.
Thank you. Where are you now, Caroline?
I am in the mountains of North Carolina in a little town called Burnsville for a short bit.
That's beautiful. And you go there every year, right, to escape the Arizona heat?
We do. We have a little cabin that we're at for a few weeks in the summer.
Fantastic. And I'm going to ask you to plug what's going on in your family. I know it's something very big and very special.
My husband is running for U.S. Congress, and the election is August 4th. So if you know anybody in Congressional District 8, he would be amazing. He is one of the most honorable people I have ever met in my life. I used to tease him because when he was a city manager, he wouldn't let anybody buy him a cup of coffee because he said, I can't be beholden to anyone. And
Yeah.
now I'm thinking, you go, guy. That's just perfect for running for Congress. So.
That's awesome. And he has an amazing website, doesn't he? I've heard it's like really cool.
And there's someone who actually helped him get that set up. I believe her last name is Chan. So yeah, thanks to Mai Ling for helping him figure out how to use GoDaddy and set up the website. And he's getting, thousands of hits every week. So it's been great.
That is awesome. And this has been a couple-year journey. So when we did that, it was a couple years ago, and he was really not well known. And you guys have just done such a great job of getting his name out there. So I'm honored to have been a part of this with your family. So thank you.
Great.
Okay, we're here to talk about you. Enough about Bob. I wanted you to kind of expand on how you got involved in AAC. I know that you've really been a leader for years, Caroline, and just catch us up to how you got to this point.
So I'm having a little bit of technology problems off and on, but I got involved in it because when I was in college, I'm going to give you the Cliff Notes version of a very long story, but I was a volunteer at a state institution for people with significant disabilities, and I was on a ward and met a young woman I was working with who talked and was really fun and had was blind like my dad, and she was just great fun, and she always wanted to bring Linda with her, and I didn't understand how capable and smart and communicative Linda was because she didn't speak, and I was 19 and didn't get it. And one day I realized that Linda would look at the clock, and when it was almost time for Days of Our Lives, she would start yelling.
I love Days of Our Lives.
And then Cheryl would say, she's not going to stop yelling till you change from, One Day to Live to Days of Our Lives. Yeah. And so they worked out this together. And, Cheryl couldn't see Linda, and Linda couldn't talk to Cheryl, but they figured it out somehow. Yeah. And it just made me think, there are so many people like Linda who have so much to say and share and rich and wonderful personalities. And it's can be hard to share that without a communication system. So I didn't know anything about AAC then, but when I went to graduate school and found out, then I was just completely besotted and hooked, and have been ever since.
Amazing. Yes, and you have been on the cutting edge of tech as this has evolved and changed. Can you just share a little bit of your journey, how you've been collaborating with companies throughout the years?
Absolutely. So it started in the late 70s that I went to a conference in Atlanta in the 70s. And then in the very early 80s, got involved with what is now ISAC, International Society for Augmentative and Alternative Communication. What actually happened is that Karen St. Louis and I were trying to we did a bibliography, an annotated bibliography of AAC, because there was so little information out there. And it went viral. It sold a lot of copies for $3. Somebody else was selling them.
$3.
Yeah, and so we decided to write a little bookette. And when we went to talk to publishers, it turned out that they wanted a real book, a bigger book. And so we ended up with like a 350-page book. We wrote this in 1980, and we kept talking about the importance of modeling. And it's really interesting. And at that point, the technology was large and limited. And so I've been involved to see like the wolf and how amazing the wolf was. And you could have, plug it in, and we burned our EPROMs on a card in the Apple IIe computer. It was amazing, but people had access to a very wide, robust vocabulary. And then we started doing digital speech, and the opportunities actually shrunk to begin with, because you have 3 minutes of recording or 2 minutes or something. And then it started growing again. And so some of the things that we've been advocates for decades and decades and decades are finally here. So finally, robust vocabulary, I just don't have people argue with me very much like, well, she really needs a location, a yes, no, or more stop. And until that she shows me she can use that, we're not going to get her a robust system. I hope, I pray that we are well past that. And the technology, eye gaze has meant the world. I remember trying eye gaze when I moved to Litchfield Park in 1991 and being so excited, but it was one of those close but no cigar. It just wasn't really working, but just knowing the potential and just so the excitement when it actually started being functional for people has been amazing. And now I think the brain potential is where I'm so hoping that we can have with brain waves what we have with eye gaze, only so much more. That's what I'm pinning my hopes and dreams on.
Excellent. Well, you kind of jumped through the what do you think for the next? So I just wanted to take a moment and talk. I know we're going to get there, and that's what we're working on at Cognition. It's just been so exciting. I want to point out that you were one of the first people to go past yes, no, and you were saying stuff like yuck and cool. And I was like, what? Well, which one of those cells am I going to take away to put yuck and cool at, And I'm going to put on you called it words from heaven. I'm going to put it on this page where you can only use those words at school. When you go home, you use different words. I mean, these were like just breaking the mold types of things. And you have pushed this industry really to move towards using a vocabulary that the user wants to use. And that's something that Lucas Stuber, who's the product development director here at Cognition, that's something that he's working on. And we're working with experts now that we are calling AAC Brainiacs, and we're including yourself in that to help us to move forward to create access in a way that people they're free, they're independent, and they're unique, and they're not stuck inside of these formulated languages. So let me jump. Thank you so much, because you did such a great job of catching us up to speed on what you're doing. Really quickly, what do you see as what's going on new right now? I know that there's been a lot going on with the pandemic, and I've seen you very active on social media.
So I think I've definitely seen some silver linings in the pandemic in the AAC world. I know it's really so hard we're not having quite the access to getting new devices. I think that's getting a little better, but what I've seen that's been really exciting is that families and home tutors are really owning the programming and really owning the modeling. And that's super exciting for me. I've seen that people with eye gaze who use eye gaze actually doing Zoom face-to-face sessions has worked amazingly well, because they've got that they can look at the computer and at the screen, and they can see the partner as well as their device. And I think that's been really empowering to I work with several teens with Rett syndrome, and it's been really empowering to them. I've seen companies step up to the plate in ways that are so heartwarming. I've seen I mean, they've already been doing wonderful things with core language, but I've seen uh, Boardmaker and Assistiveware and Quirky through Language Lab just doing such amazing trainings and
Yeah.
immediately developing communication boards for people who are in ICUs and are intubated.
Yes. Yes.
I'm so proud to be part of this industry right now. It is just, it's mind blowing and it's really exciting. So I feel like the, our people are, I have always felt incredibly good about our world. The disability technology world, I think, has people in it who are not just about making money, but about making change and making,
Yes.
and so I feel that they have taken what they were already doing and thrown it and blown it to a new level. And it's been really exciting. I'm seeing the stuff that AbleNet is doing and just, oh my gosh, Don Johnston with all the incredible ways that we've been trying to connect Retopia and AAC. So
Yes.
just feel real hopeful about it, even though it's been so hard. There have been some positive things coming out of the pandemic.
Excellent. And thank you for bringing up the no tech communication boards. Cognition team was involved in that. We created the phrase based partner assisted communication PDF. And at the end, I will put the link. It's free. You can download it. And it is amazing in that we talk about end of life decisions, advanced directives, things that go beyond
Oh,
that 0
yes.
to 10 pain scale. Yeah. And it's actually in a couple different languages and it's gone around the world now. So that was an amazing project for us to be involved in. You started to talk about what's next, and we actually have a great comment here, and this is by Larry Hagel, and I really hope that I said your last name correctly. And he says, it would be great to help to use your own words. Wait, I'm sorry. It would be great to be able to use your own words instead of the words put up for you to communicate. And Caroline, you kind of touched on that with you're calling it the brain interface. And that's what we are working on at Cognition. EEG, these are things that I had to ramp up to. But I know that people like yourself have been, you've heard about it and you've been looking forward to it. And this is really going to break all these confines of, having to work within a set symbol,
Yeah,
right? System.
I worked very hard with the individuals I work with to mine words from things we're reading to see and offer those and say, is that something you'd like to add to your communication?
Yeah.
And I have, it's been a really rich and fun thing, that vocabulary mining and thinking about. I know one of the young women I work with, just has some amazing words that she uses so brilliantly. I mean, words like hoard that she uses in such
Yeah.
hysterical ways, and Dancy and
Yeah.
Quirky, just
Mm-hmm.
wonderful describing words that show her personality so richly. And I think we all have to try really hard to do this with everyone we work with, to customize and personalize. I like starting with a system because when we don't do that, we end up with noun town, just a whole bunch of
Yes.
so forth. So I think starting with a system where people have really spent a lot of time researching the kinds of things that are powerful. There's so many great language systems out there that I love. And then customizing it in wonderful ways to make it their own.
Yeah, I mean, just the word quirky. That's a great Caroline Musselwhite word. Like you'll take that word and make entire activities surrounding that.
Absolutely. I love Quirky. It's so great.
I love that. Okay, and one more thing. Tell us what you've been doing with science. Did I lose you? Are you still with us?
There, but I think you're asking me what I've been doing during the pandemic. I'm working with, I get to work with people now all over the world. I mean, I'm working with a young woman in Dubai. That's been really fun. And I've decided to take this time. I have this 5-part plan for my last 15 years. And one of the points is to write more small little books that are accessible to parents and teachers and families.
Yeah.
And I managed to do 4 little books on teachers pay teachers. And I just made them really exportable for the at first, like really cheap. Nothing's over $6.99, and I'm really trying to do lots of webinars and do lots of stuff so that I figure in another 11 or 12 years I may not be working full time, and so I'm trying to think of what I can do to share what I've learned. I've been doing this so long, and I've had such wonderful people mentoring me and working with me as colleagues, and so now I'm trying to give back. And so
Excellent. And, that brings up, you have so many courses available at Exceptional Ed. I know that you have an international audience of people who love to see you. They fly in for AAC in the desert every year, which is at like January, February. And you've been just creating this massive library of courses so that when they can't get to you, they can take these courses. And you always offer them. Even during the pandemic, you did this special for $5 and that blew up.
Yeah.
So I just want to thank you for that. I know there are so many people that were just so grateful
that
to have
was very fun.
access. Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Caroline. We absolutely love catching up with you, and we're looking forward to working with you to create some amazing things at Cognition.
That sounds great. I'm so excited. I love working with you too, Mai Ling. You're such an innovator and such an outside the box thinker, and so connected. It's just fabulous to work with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Caroline. Have a good rest of your day.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. What another amazing guest. I'm so excited and blessed to have time with Caroline. Excuse me. Thank you for following us over to the Cognition page where we're doing our weekly Facebook Lives. Today's episode of Cognition's What's New, What's Next in Accessibility has been brought to you by the SpeakPros app, offering intuitive interface that allows people to express themselves using face and eye tracking technology on the iPad. You can find out more at speakpros.com or get free professional access to this app by contacting me directly for a demo. Thanks for joining us, and I'll see you next week.